Andy and Fuuko are at a restaurant, where Andy orders food and vodka. He tells Fuuko that Gina, his former cellmate, was always expressing doubts about having to kill and wondering if she would be better off dead. Andy said that if she wanted to die so badly, she would be at the top of his hit list once he escaped, which made her very happy. He thanks Fuuko for her unluck, which saved Gina's life. Fuuko then asks if they can change the organization together, and Andy agrees, saying that it would help him charm her. He comments that their welcome wagon will be there soon, and they drink to Gina. Just then, a creature breaks through the ceiling and calls them 9 and 10, transporting them to the Union's roundtable with the other members. Andy bites off 8 of his fingers and shoots them at the other members in greeting, but they easily block them. The leader of the Union then welcomes them to the organization. Juice, the leader of the Union, welcomes Andy and Fuuko to the organization. Tatiana, a member of the Union with a robotic arm, immediately punches Andy for killing Gina, another member of the Union. Billy, another member of the Union, tells Tatiana to calm down, as fighting among members is forbidden. Andy managed to cut the fingers off of Tatiana's robotic arm, which annoys her. Juice tells Andy and Fuuko to stop pointing their weapons at each other. Tatiana and Andy calm down, and Andy apologizes to Fuuko, but comments that it got them results. Apocalypse, the first artifact found on Earth, opens his eyes and rips 6 pages from himself, revealing 6 quests for the Union to complete. The capture of Yume Burn will reward them with the 11th seat. The capture of Yume Eat will reward them with the location of Negator Unburn. The neutralization of Yume Language will reward them with the unification of all languages. The capture of Negator Unseen will reward them with the location of Yume Call. The capture of Yume Past will reward them with the location of Artifact Rebellion. And the capture of Yume Spoil will reward them with the location of Negator on Repair. If the quests are not completed by August 31st, Yume Galaxy will be added as a penalty. Apocalypse explains how many participants each quest can have, and then tells the Union to choose their quests. Juice tells Nico Vorgel, a member of the Union, to analyze the data. While he does, Juice explains that they should prioritize the first 3 quests, with Burn having the highest priority due to the most valuable reward. He also suggests giving up on the last quest, as they lack data and may lose face. Nico agrees with Juice's recommendations, and Juice prepares to split the quests between the members of the Union. Fuuko asks Top, a member of the Union who sits next to her, what Apocalypse is. Top explains that Apocalypse is the first artifact found on Earth. When all 10 Negators, powerful beings who oppose Apocalypse, sit at the round table, it opens and forces unreasonable and impossible quests on them. If they succeed, they get rewards, but if they fail, they get penalties. Fuuko wonders if they should play along with the rules, as Gina, her former cellmate, once commented that no matter how hard she tried, nothing changed. Juice, the leader of the Union, explains that the god who resides on the other side of the book has forced 98 rules on Earth, such as sex, language, race, death, and sickness. Every 3 months, new penalties are added, even without the Union's intervention. To prevent this, the Union intervenes, but their forces need to be strong in order to accomplish the quests that Apocalypse gives them. By gaining the rewards from these quests, the Union grows stronger, and one day will achieve their goal of killing the being that forces those rules on Earth. Juice explains that only 10 Negators, powerful beings who oppose the god, can take quests at a time, so the Union needs substitutes. She apologizes for ordering the disposal of Unluck, but says that she invited Fuuko and Andy due to Shin's recommendation. Fuuko is still not satisfied, but Juice tells her that leadership in the Union is determined by the one with the greatest number of results, so if she wants to make a difference, she needs to become the number 1. Andy steps on the table and opens Apocalypse's mouth, asking which quest is the hardest. Apocalypse bites his hands and tells him that it is the spoil quest. Andy then says that he, Fuuko, and Shin will take it. Shin tries to stop them, but Apocalypse accepts their request and assigns them the quest. Mui, Shin's subordinate, helps Fuuko dress and explains that she is not a Negator or a member of the Round Table, so she is not authorized to participate in quests. As they walk down the hallway, Andy runs while trying to remove his clothes and accidentally touches Fuuko's face, causing magma to erupt from the walls and hit him. Andy doesn't want to wear the special suit that the Union provides for quests, but Shin tells him that it is bulletproof, stab-proof, and sturdy overall. The necktie grants access to a number of public services, and the emblem is necessary to participate in quests. Andy still refuses, wanting to use his helicopter and have a date with Fuuko in the clouds. An alarm blares, warning the group that Yume number 1129, Clothes, has escaped and must be captured immediately. They realize that they are on the same floor as the escaped Yume, and Mui explains that Clothes is a shape-shifting garment that latches onto people's bodies and transforms into the garments they desire the most. However, once Clothes bewitches its victims, it takes control of their bodies and forces them to run wild. One of the controlled people attacks Andy, but he quickly headbutts them unconscious. Mui explains that if the person Clothes controls loses the ability to move, Clothes will simply seek out a new victim. As Clothes moves on to Mui, she begins to attack Shin and Andy. Andy tells Shin to use his ability to stop Mui, but Shin explains that Clothes does not meet his requirements and that he cannot stop it. Seeing this, Fuuko rushes in to help, but Mui hits her in the face, causing her to touch it. A rock then falls on Fuuko's head, knocking her out. Clothes then heads for Fuuko, but Andy protects her, and it latches onto him instead. Mui apologizes for dis-serving the one who saved her life, but Shin tells her that her kung fu was amazing and that her daily training paid off. He encourages her to continue. Clothes then begins to rage about Andy's desire for sturdy clothes that repair themselves and come out when he calls them. Andy tells Clothes that it is the tackiest thing he has ever worn. However, the unluck from touching Fuuko while saving her from Clothes comes into effect, and Andy is hit by Nico's malfunctioning artifact. Andy is surprised to find that the repair of the clothes takes only 15 seconds, and Clothes comments that he is insatiable. Shin is impressed that Andy managed to take the UMA and make it his servant. Andy receives points for capturing the UMA and is promoted to 9th position. Nico then receives news of a new UMA, a rotting corpse wandering the streets of New York. He also learns that this UMA is somehow related to Spoil. Hearing this, Andy becomes excited, as he will be able to eat bigger burgers in New York. Andy and Fuuko arrive in Nevada, with Andy driving a truck instead of flying his helicopter. Andy suggests they go to Las Vegas, but Fuuko reminds him that their file says the rotting corpse came from Longning, so they should go there instead. Shin pops up from the window and reveals that Longning is a rural area where many cowboy movies are filmed. He comments that Andy was indeed planning to leave him behind, and that he has been traveling as a stowaway this whole time. Fuuko invites Shin inside. Shin believes that the rotting dead is connected to Spoil, and asks Fuuko to think about what Spoil means in this context. He explains that it essentially means to decay or rot away. Shin is not sure how the zombie made it to New York, but he is sure that Longing is now a zombie town, and that they will be up against Spoil and his zombie army. Fuuko wonders if they have a chance against the zombies, and Shin tells her that their investigators have scoped out the town. He shows her recordings of the investigators commenting on how full of zombies it is, and how they are also starting to turn. Shin tells Andy that he may have a hard time unless he goes all out, but Andy assures him that it won't be necessary. Andy, Fuuko, and Shin take a break for the night. As Fuuko can't fall asleep, Shin approaches her and assures her that he and Andy will take care of Spoil. Fuuko says she wants to help too, as the reward is the location of Unrepair, and if Andy meets Unrepair, he may gain a clue that could help him die. She asks Shin why he's on this quest, but remembers that he was forced. Shin tells her that's part of it, and that he expects the quest to be hard and Andy to be pushed hard enough to see Victor. The next day, they reach Longing and see a big wall surrounding it. Andy shoots it with a rocket and zombies start coming out. He asks Shin if they can become human again, but Shin denies it. Andy steps on the gas, running over the zombies and plunging the hole with the truck. He lunges from the truck and yells that he's going to be killing lots of zombies, but if among them is someone who still has a half a brain and knows where the one is who turned them into zombies, to duck now. Andy then spins forward and cuts off dozens of zombie heads. He notices that a female zombie had ducked. Andy brings a zombie to Fuuko and Shin, saying that one of them hasn't turned fully yet and can help them find spoil. Fuuko wants to come along, but Shin stops her and reminds Andy that he told him to be careful. He asks Andy if he has any experience fighting Yumeis, but Andy says he has no memory of it. Shin explains that Yumeis are different from Negators and are the rules themselves. He says that his ability works when he looks at people from a certain distance, and Fuuko's ability activates when she makes physical contact. However, fighting in Yume to investigate its intentions is dangerous, as it has likely already activated its ability. Most Yumeis will impose their rule on anyone who steps within their range. Andy apologizes and tells Shin that he doesn't feel any different. The zombie then turns over on his stomach, and Clothes tells Andy that he has something written on it. They see numbers, and Shin comments that this is likely a timer until the zombie turns fully. Shin and Fuuko don't have numbers, so Shin guesses that they are outside of the Yumei's range. Andy decides to sit back, relax, and let the spoilage happen. He doesn't believe that something like this can actually kill him. His number turns to 0 and his arm spoils, but his healing factor activates and heals him, causing him to spoil and heal over and over again. As this is happening, Andy starts to understand what the zombie is saying. She tells him that she will tell him where spoil is if they get married. Andy agrees, and before heading out, she reminds him that they need to capture spoil, not neutralize it. Suddenly, Fuuko sees some kids showing up from the sewers. They quickly hide again. At the church, Andy tells the zombie that she looks beautiful in the wedding dress. She tells him they don't need to get married, and that her dream has always been to wear a wedding dress. She then tells him to save everyone and kill them, to put them out of their misery, and points to an angel statue, telling him to kill that too. Andy says that his orders were to capture spoil, but he can't refuse his bride's request. He pulls out his sword and cuts the statue, which reveals itself to be Spoil's head. Spoil wonders why Andy doesn't spoil and realizes that he's a negator. Spoil then asks how a lowly vessel of rules can oppose the rules themselves, and destroys the church. However, all the zombies in the church protect Andy with their bodies. Andy then joins his hands together, and fires a blast of energy that hits Spoil. He announces that he will take down Spoil, and that all zombies are welcome to join him and fight against their common enemy. Like and comment if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel for more anime recaps, and tell me what anime recap you'd like to see next in the comments below.